think about Hollywood legends, you do really think about certain things, don't you? The white dress with Marilyn Monroe, that famous speech, it's the pictures that got small with Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. There are so many, aren't they? It's a Wonderful Life. You name it, there's just movie iconic moments that we all know and enjoy. But there was one particular man that really, some might suggest, at the very start of the golden age of cinema, literally made the screen his own. And he did it actually by not speaking. But this was in an age of sound. He was, of course, a man that was, well, apparently one of the most fanciable males of the early 1930s. He was a man who had his own distinctive sound. That's right. We're talking about the one and only original Tarzan, some people might say, Johnny Weissmuller. But how did Johnny end up in Blackpool in the north of England? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me. We'll have a wave, yes. Now, as I often say, I know, it's interesting, isn't it? Hollywood icons. Why do we like them? Why do they still remain? My theory, and do let me know what you think in the comments below, is it's their indelible images, you know? The people who took those wonderful pictures of these people, the stills photographers of people like, Fox and RKO, Columbia, Universal. They truly made these people iconic images. The picture of Hedy Lamarr, you felt that you could almost touch her. She was so real. That's how clever they were without the digital age. But someone like Johnny Weissmuller was truly different because for a very young generation in the 1930s, he was synonymous with, of course, the role of Tarzan. Now, Tarzan obviously was a mega best-selling book, no two ways about it. So when they decided in the advent of sound to put him to sound, you could understand exactly what they thought they were onto a winner. Johnny Weissmuller was, of course, a brilliant swimmer, Olympian no less, and fitted the bill perfectly. He was, well, shall we say, a man's man of an era that wasn't necessarily all about body image. Tarzan, Jane, and of course the chimp, who could forget that, well, they just became a phenomenon. As I've often said here on the show, people forget that even back then, colouring books, jigsaws, you name it, everything was branded with Johnny Weissmuller's name. Now, what happened was, as you can imagine, even though the movies were incredibly successful, everything has a time span. Did you know also that Johnny's famous Tarzan call was actually created by getting him to do it one way, and then they wound the tape back another way, and that's the version they played out. Double tracking, it's called. Incredible to think. Johnny's call became something that you heard all across schoolyards around the world, didn't you? Every young boy was doing that particular call. And if you think about it, in the age of ringtones today, wouldn't he have made a lot of money in that market? But by the 1940s, the Tarzan films had slightly gone out of favour. They did come back with various people, of course. Lex Barker, a man who, well, had a rather infamous past, shall we say. And obviously, again, when you look at it, nobody really was as big as Johnny. Now, Johnny, you see, decided to branch out and make money around the world, as all big Hollywood stars did. And by 1949, he'd popped up in the mega resort of Blackpool, all thanks to two local Blackpool impresarios, predominantly Tom Arnold. Tom, you see, was a big promoter of summer shows at that particular resort. Now, they had a wonderful place called the Derby Baths. Sadly, the Derby Baths is no more, and it's next door now to a Hilton hotel, or that was. What's interesting about this particular story, Johnny turned up in Blackpool to a great fanfare and an amazing box office, let me tell you. He starred in their Water Follies, and literally everybody who was anybody wanted to meet Johnny Weissmuller. So successful was the season, even though it cost them a lot of money, they kind of broke even. But for him, he made a lot of money, literally signing autographs, selling posters, and of course, toy dolls of Tarzan. Not only that, he promenaded up and down Blackpool's famous Golden Mile, appeared on the tram, went up the Blackpool Tower, and made sure that his show was a #1 box office success. Now, Johnny, of course, remained an icon for many, many children. So much so that even in 1967, he popped up as part of the infamous front cover of the Beatles' iconic album, Sgt. Pepper, because all the Beatles loved Johnny Weissmuller. But for that summer, In 1949, if you wanted to get close to a real life Hollywood star, then there was none bigger than Johnny Weissmuller, quite literally in Britain's biggest and still remains favourite holiday destination. Some say the Las Vegas of the north of England. For Johnny Weissmuller, he did plan to come back, but sadly it never truly happened. He finally fully retired from acting in 1957. And even today, if you can afford it and you have the money, the programmes from that particular show, The Waterfollies in Blackpool, still go for a considerable amount of money. Proof that Tarzan yodels on whatever. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.